Good evening, folks. This is Deb Delapiano. This is your short take. So tonight, as promised, we're going to talk about all the great things that the GOP has done in its first 100 days. The GOP House of Horrors has done in its first 100 days from a legislative perspective. So let's talk about the bills that have been introduced, some of which have passed. Let's talk about those. First of all, let's start off by saying that more than 30 bills have been filed that make accessing abortion more difficult for women in the United States. 30, okay? So after that, we've had one bill establishing a 30% sales tax on the people of the United States, the yous and the me's, the people of the United States, and abolishing the IRS. So let me see if we can get this right. We abolish the IRS. We make the workers bear the burden of the tax in the United States by levying a 30% sales tax on all goods. Now, who does that benefit, do you think? Oh, I'll tell you who I think it benefits. I think it benefits the wealthiest Americans. That's who that benefits. Am I right? I think I am. One bill to declare the AR-15 the national gun of the United States. Now, I'd like to remind everybody here that so far, this is April, we have had 131 mass shootings, and a mass shooting is defined as 4 or more people wounded or injured. And that does not include the person doing the shooting. The perpetrator is not included in the 4. That would be 4 victims of the perpetrator. Last year at this time, we had 113. We are up to already 131. And we actually have more mass shootings in the United States this year than we have had days so far. We have had one bill filed to repeal the Affordable Care Act, something that the GOP has done time and time again. Even before there were MAGA GOPs. We have one bill to abolish safe working conditions, which also benefits corporate America. And let me tell you that in states across the nation, they are rolling back child labor laws. Tennessee is one. Arkansas is another so far. And I had some horses come on social media and say to me, so it's a bad thing to create jobs for youth? Give me a break, okay? You don't create jobs for youth by putting them in dangerous situations. We have had one bill to extend Trump's tax cuts to the wealthy. I'd like to remind you that when Trump did this in 2017, he added $1 to $2 trillion to the deficit. And had we not had Bush and Trump's tax cuts to the wealthy, our debt as a percentage of the economy would be declining steadily. So you can see that benefiting the wealthiest is not just a Donald Trump thing. It is the GOP. We've had one bill to end the ATF's curbing of illegal firearms. We've had one bill to repeal the Inflation Reduction Act. We have passed on a national level a version of the Florida Don't Say Gay bill. And just the other day, the GOP passed a law nationally to block transgender athletes from participating in sports. Now, Elise Stefanik, who is the psychopathical MAGA representative from New York, had the utter gall to call the GOP the party of women, stating that not one Democrat stood up to protect women's sports. So I'd like to say to Elise Stefanik that real women in America aren't threatened by transgender Americans. Only people like J.R. Rowling and most men. I'm sorry, J.K. Rowling. I got that wrong. Let me apologize to old J.K., the transphobe and the TERF. And in closing, let me just say this. in the first 100 days of the House of Horrors being in power, we have spent as taxpayers over $10 million paying their salary. Is this really what we elected them to do? They complain about the economy. They have offered not one solution to the economy, which actually is doing quite well under Joe Biden. They complain about the border. Have they come up with one solution to the border other than you just point fingers at everybody else, trying to hold meetings and oversight committee meetings to get rid of Mayorkas? They have spent all of their time trying to obstruct Alvin Bragg's indictment of Donald Trump in Manhattan, even to the point where we have Jim Jordan conducting a circus in Manhattan right now, looking at the supposedly horrible crime rate of New York City, which actually is far lower than what he is in the state of Ohio and in California. So I'm asking the American people to just step back for a minute. Let's pretend January 6th never happened. But it did, okay? I don't want you to get the idea that I'm saying it didn't. I don't want you to get that idea, all right? But pretend none of that ever happened. What has the GOP ever done for you on any other level? Forget that we have a legislature full of seditionists and traitors and fascists. What have they actually ever done for the American people on any level to benefit them? None of this benefits the American people. What this does is pander to the Christian nationalists and the right wingers that fund the GOP. Y'all better wake up, folks, because this is going to be the vision of America should they return to power in 2024. You give them the House and the Senate, and this is what you're going to be doing here. This is what you're going to be This is what you're going to be getting for legislation. I'd like to remind everybody they continually try to threaten Medicare, Medicaid, and Social Security. They continue to do it now. Now they want to raise the retirement rate for the Gen Zers to try to save Social Security. You know what would save Social Security? Making people like Elon Musk and Jeff Bezos pay their fair share instead of paying only up to $160,000 in taxes towards Social Security when they make billions a year. That's what would save Social Security. But then again, if the Republicans did that, they'd lose donors, which is why they do everything that they do. Come on, people. This is your future right here. Fascism in its most utter form. Should you sit it out again? As someone pointed out today, if Did Not Vote was a candidate, they would have won during the midterms all by themselves. That's disgusting. Let me just tell you how utterly disgusting it is that only 52% of registered Democrats voted in light of everything that they know right now about the GOP. It's out there on social media all day. It's on the news all day. They talk about it all day. They open their mouths all day. They're worried about a beer campaign with a transgender person now. And now Marjorie Taylor Greene is out there calling that transgender person a pedophile with absolutely no evidence of that. There is no evidence that that person is a pedophile. You have had Fox News lose a lawsuit because they continued the big lie, paying out millions and millions of dollars so that it wouldn't go to trial, so that everybody would know the truth about how they lied and perpetrated Donald Trump's bullshit. Wake up, America. It's now or never. If the 2024, it's game, set, and match if they get the power back. I'll talk to you all later.